So, hello guys, China Komaki. Welcome to another episode. Today it's kind of warm, above 25 degrees. So I decided to get out and take some footages. So now I'm almost 35 kilometers away from home. This place is called the Pudong area, which is the east side of the Huangpu River. And this suburb is called Chuansha. Chuansha is a district, quite massive, close to the Shanghai airport. This town specifically is called the Chuansha Old Town, or Chuansha Ancient Town. There are almost 150,000 people reside here. I'm gonna, check out the tourist area, which is the ancient town area, and I'm also going to, walk through some of the neighborhood. So yeah, I decided just, walking and try to show you the street view of the ancient town. Maybe I'm also going to check out a Catholic church, which is around this area, and there's also a pavilion or pagoda. But it's a little bit further. I will see. So yeah, that's almost the plan for today, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video. And there we go. I started by visiting Chuansha Old Street, which is a tourist attraction in the town. This tourist commercial street isn't very long, only a few hundred meters. At the end of the old street is the residential area, where local residents gather. Don't worry, we will go and take a look later. I visited here in 2020, and at that time the entire street was deserted, with only me wandering around. Now it seems like the popularity has returned. After walking through the main touristy street, we entered this local residential area, which gave me a feeling of traveling back to the 1980s in Shanghai. I remember that in my childhood, there were many similar streets scattered throughout the central area of Shanghai. In the 80s, these narrow streets in Shanghai were called Longtang by local Shanghainese, while in Beijing they are called Pudong. I believe every region in China has its own terms for these old neighborhood streets. Here you can see many small shops. Shanghai people call these small shops along the street Yanzhidian, because back in the 1930s, these small shops specialized in selling rouge cosmetics. Of course, it's rare to see this kind of lifestyle in the central area of Shanghai nowadays. This street now specializes in selling food. Generally, local residents from the nearby area of Chuansha come to this street to buy their daily necessities, rather than going to chain supermarkets every day. The reason is actually quite simple. The prices here are cheaper, and you can bargain in the prices, which you cannot do in chain supermarkets where prices are fixed. I didn't especially look at what interesting aquatic products they sell, but typically the aquatic products in these places are freshly slaughtered. You can buy a live fish, and the owner will slaughter and clean it for you on the spot. This indoor open market is another form of commercial setup for purchasing food. Shanghai locals refer to such places as 小菜场, means small vegetable markets. My parents' generation prefers to buy grocery at these markets
because in the past they were operated by the government, ensuring fair prices and fewer instances of customer deception compared to private-run food stores on the streets, which sometimes overcharge customers. As a buyer in China, you need to be familiar with prices, or else you might encounter issues of to be ripped off.
See, there's a Catholic church here.
Next, let's go take a look at the church here in Chuansha. Many of my Shanghainese friends mentioned to me about this church.
So here it is called the Shanghai Chuansha Catholic Church. 阿姨，搿里向勿开啊？
啊？
搿教堂里向开伐？
教堂里向，侬是信天主伐？
我就看看嘛，我勿信天主。
那边侬外头拍两张嘛好啊？
啊，我没讲，我就问声嘛，我没讲一定要进去。
啊，不要紧，不要紧，不要紧。
嗯。
侬就外头。
好好，谢谢侬啊。This is a Catholic church in Chuansha town. It's not open, so I'm not able to access inside.
Here is the residential community across the bridge from Chuansha town's touristy attractions. When I came here in 2020, it was still under renovation. You can probably tell that although the houses on both sides of the main street are still old, the exteriors have been repainted. Although the high residential density is still evident, the streets are much cleaner. I remember living in an old alley in Jing'an district, Shanghai. When I was a child, of course, it was different from here. The house I lived back in the 80s was called Shikumen, literally means stone gate house, similar to semi-detached villa, with at least 4 householders are all living in one 3-story building. I will take a dedicated video to introduce Shikumen houses to you guys in the future. I'm not sure if these alley houses that we are visiting have the sanitation facilities, because I remember that there were no separate toilet in my Shikumen house in Shanghai back in the 80s, and we had to use public toilets. Of course, they may all have their own separate bathroom now. You may also have noticed that here, people don't use the laundry dryers. Instead, they just hang their clothes outside to dry in the sun. Walking out of the main street and into these alleys, these winding and twisting places, the outwalls have not been repainted, and it's easy to get lost wandering around here. You might end up in someone's backyard, but it's actually quite safe, and most of the people living in these areas in Shanghai are elderly. The young generation has gone to work to outside. As you can see, I had to ask a local uncle to find a way out.
还有个豆豆走得出去啊？
就这要跳到楼下弄路，
哦哦。 So, when you walk through this yellow bridge, now you see hectares of paddy field. No, not paddy field. So this is a land, you know, you see a farmer over there to irrigate the vegetable or something. The video cameras, ubiquitous, right? It's everywhere. You check out my videos. It's almost everywhere. I'm not going further because it's almost a wasteland, right? There's nobody here. But if you see, these buildings are not finished yet, but I don't hear it is still under constructions. Maybe it is still, people are still building. Oh, there are some you know, construction sound from that area. Yeah, so the Chuansha Asian town is kind of like a suburb, right? But the ancient town area is not a really remote rural area, and as well as this place, just this ground is under development or something. But you see that these are like under construction residential buildings or something like that. I think it's a big project. I'm not really sure if people want to live here because this is way far away from the Shanghai city center, where I don't have any intention to buy a real estate here. Even, you know, this real estate would be like millions of RMB, maybe around like 3 million or whatever it is. So yeah, but anyway, I'm going back. There's no reason to stick around in this rural area, but definitely a village area. The residential place that we went through was even better than this place. Abandoned houses are everywhere. Some villagers living here, maybe. Oh, there are still people living over here. See that? No, it's somebody's home. Walking in a wasting land. Actually, it's not wasting. There are still people living here. You know, it's just the living condition isn't very pleasant. It's kind of older way of living. Yeah. I'm not sure, like, these houses are abandoned almost. Oh, there are still people living in this area. See that? Oh my God. Oh, this is not a residential area. See that? Kind of like scary. Nobody's here. Maybe this one. Yeah. Let's get out.
As I stepped out of the abandoned village, I arrived at the commercial street of Chuansha town. This is where the town residents come to shop and buy things. To put it plainly, it's not much different from many areas in Shanghai. Of course, the commercial areas in the CBD center of Shanghai are much more bustling and modern. Here, it feels like an ordinary suburb street, but there isn't much to see here. So, let's go ahead to our final destination, which is a landmark building here in Chuansha.
I walked almost like 25 minutes all the way down to this park, as well as you know, playground for the children. Then this is eventually what I'm looking for, a Chuansha massive grand pavilion building, which is pretty okay, you know. I'm not expecting it is a massive building, but it's actually beautiful. I don't think this is an ancient building. It must be some old building renovated again or something. There is a module inside this building. It's not open for the public, so I'm not able to get inside this building. Alright guys, so yeah, as you can see, this is the last spot. I tried my best, walk almost like 30 minutes down to this area. The building behind me, it is called the He Ming Lou. In Chinese Mandarin, He means the crane, Ming means crowing. So crane crowing building, because the crane in China is portrayed as a holy bird or something. In the ancient time, it is tied up with the Taoism religious. So yeah, the building is a replication of the Wuhan Huanghe Lou. So it's kind of like a, you know, a fake version of the original Wuhan Huanghe Lou. And this is a 7 stories building, and the floors that you can observe from the outlook of this building is 5th floor, so 5 floors. And the other 2 floors are, you know, embedded in the basement. So yeah, that's all. It is a wrap up for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this Chuansha, you know, daily vlog, kilometers away from the Shanghai city center. Thanks for watching. See you in next video.